since we've last talked about the Eagles, they traded for CJ Gardner-Johnson. Andre Dillard gets put on the IL or the IR. We were talking Phillies earlier before we started taping, so I'm thinking baseball. And so he's going to be out at least the first 4 games of the season, which can hurt the depth on the offensive line, which is kind of known for getting some injuries in past years. But for the time being, the offensive line is fully healthy. Jason Kelce's going to continue his consecutive start streak. He'll be ready to go week 1. And Howie Roseman finally admitted to fucking up with Jalen Reagor and JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Those 2 guys are gone from this team, so it's not this cloud hanging over the wide receiver room. And so here are our original predictions when the schedule release first came out towards the beginning of summer. You predicted 12-5. I predicted 11-6. Since then, how are you thinking? Are you thinking that's still a good prediction? You still sticking with that, or do you think maybe they overachieve that or underachieve that?
I couldn't believe that I said 12-5. Like, now that I think back on it, when we first did it, because we definitely, like, the optimism has skyrocketed over the last week. It started with the trades of Reagor and JJ, or I think a Whiteside, like that was just like positive energy. Just it's like, all right, they're gone. The irony to all the Eagles fans are they sent them to the teams who have the wide receivers that we wanted them to take.
I know
in the drafts, which is just like, I don't know. It's just kind of like funny in that way, but there are problems now. And like that just kind of started the like goodwill. It was like, all right, let's just get rid of them. Let's not even have to worry about them being in the offense anymore. We can concentrate on AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert and the backs and
Quez Watkins, who ripped off
love.
A couple big plays last season.
Exactly. And so, just focus on the talent that we know is there. And then last week, great news, because if anything, I think everyone thought the secondary was probably our weakest spot, or the safety spot, which for years we've been clamoring for a new safety ever since Dawkins left. I know for me specifically, even though he eventually made good on the draft pick, and he's one of the main reasons that we won the Super Bowl in 2017, that it's Brandon Graham, and he's turned out to have a really good Eagles career. For years, though, I used to call him should be Earl Thomas, because when that draft happened in 2009, we were coming off an championship game run. Dawkins left because we didn't want to pay him the money, and everyone knew, hey, we got to backfill that position. We could have had Earl Thomas, and instead we took Brandon Graham. Took a couple of years for him to make it worth it, but he did. But that we eventually signed Malcolm Jenkins. But it's always been that not having that safety has always been a point of contention, along with our linebacking core. And then finally, over the offseason, between the draft and signing free agents, the linebacking core kind of got addressed. And then we go and make this great trade for a guy who's versatile. He's kind of like the new Malcolm Jenkins. He can play safety in the box, or he's a cover corner. I think like the PFF grades him out as the best nickel corner in all of football, or at least he thinks he is, but he's up there in the top 10.
I was gonna say the best thing coming out of this the news of that trade was all the montages of him talking trash to Brady on Thursday Night Football, and it's like, yo, okay, this is the dude that was born and meant to be in Philly. Kind of like what we were talking about with the Schwarber and Castellanos press conferences. We're not here to talk about the Phillies, but it was just a very similar vibe, like, and energy.
The second he got traded, he was right, like instantly on Twitter, "Fly Eagles fly!" Like. That's someone who gets it to a degree. He definitely, I think, is going to fit right in. He's going to bring some swagger to the defense. Swagger from that has kind of been lost since that Super Bowl run team, mainly because of injuries and aging and, letting some players go. But the second that trade was made, and then we realized that we only gave up so much, it was like, oh my God.
Are the Eagles capable of winning the Super Bowl in 2022 with everyone else?
I think we have a talented enough roster. I think the NFC is completely up for grabs. There's no one. It's not like the AFC where you have like 7 to 8 surefire teams. You still got the Packers. The Vikings got a new head coach who was the Rams O coordinator last year, so everyone's kind of expecting like big things for Thielen and Jefferson again, after they already didn't have big things going.
Yeah,
But they're
seriously.
expecting one of them to basically become this year's Cooper Cup. The Packers have Rodgers, so you can never discount that. The Bucks and Brady, if he doesn't retire by week 4, because who knows what's going on with him.
Yeah.
And then out west, you got the Rams. I'm sorry, you don't discount the defending Super Bowl champs until they're down and out. You don't. They still have most of their parts together. I think the Stafford injury stuff's being overblown because people just never have been a big Matthew Stafford guy, but he got his ring and he's still not getting the love. I think McVay is one of the best coaches in the league. You still got the defense together. You got healthy running backs. You still got Cooper Cup, Allen Robinson. Who knows what he can do with a real quarterback for the first time? So I won't discount them. The 49ers are clearly a wild card because who knows with Trey Lance, but it could be like the Lamar Jackson thing where he just has a crazy year that no one like really saw coming. So there's no surefire number one. It's I feel like it's kind of like a roulette table
Yeah,
where it's like
it is.
what's it going to land on.